Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about the work in progress Unity calculator that I'm working on. And you might immediately notice that this is not a normal video because I actually don't have the time to do a normal video right now, so I'm just going to make this instead. Because I already know not a lot of people are going to watch this. So I'm going to cut some corners this time and just ramble on off the top of my head without any scripts. I just have some points here that I'm gonna go over. So, first of all, this new calculator is done in Unity with C#. And that's how we have a UI, because I still don't know how to make a UI in Python. Some of you might be asking, okay, are you writing this whole thing from the beginning? And the answer is yes, I am. And you might be wondering why I abandoned my 9 months of work to just start from the beginning again. You might know that I don't actually make videos for you guys. My main point is learning. Because as long as I'm learning, I'm making progress towards something greater. But if I'm not learning, then I'm just standing still, wasting my time. I want to learn. And what's the best way to learn something than to make something that you've already made? Except the fact that C# is so different that realistically, you have no idea what you're doing. And that's why it took me 1 month to get this far. But to be fair, I'm much further in development than I was after 1 month in Python. So there's that. So let's go over what we have. First of all, we have play button right here. So let's press play and that. Now everything works. Okay. So we have a title screen, and as you can see, all the buttons and all the text are all the default stuff because I won't be needing a pretty UI. Like, who cares? It's not like the pretty UI is gonna affect how you're capable of calculating stuff. So first thing you see is, oh, wait a second. I have to clear my prefabs. Not prefabs. Clear my player preferences. Yeah. Because those actually do stuff here. Okay. So this is the first screen you see. It's called, what's it called? Panel weapon select. So here you will select your weapon. If you press this thing right here, you'll see a bunch of weapons. And you might ask yourself, there's no way all of these stats are in there. Is there? And you would be surprised because there is. I have all the numbers, and you might be saying, wait a second, didn't you write all the names by hand last time? And yes, I totally did that. So where did all this come from? The answer is Warframe Wiki. They actually have a page where you can grab all of their weapon stats. So weapon stat receiver, here's where Python came in, because the receiving part was done in Python. Someone on Discord helped me. I forgot their name. I don't actually know if I haven't actually gotten permission from them to tell their name. So even if I knew it, I wouldn't say it. So here, weapon stat receiver 0.002. You basically run this. I made some changes, but the gist of it is the same. I just made it so all the files are separate instead of being continuous, all of them. I think that was the case at least. And then all of these will save. Let me open it in Explorer. Where is the button? Oh, open in Explorer. Okay. Okay. So you go here and boom, you have all the stats. In this case, I only put the primary ones in because that's basically what I'm doing. As soon as the primary ones are done, it's just a matter of grabbing the rest of the numbers, so it's no big deal. Okay, actually, let me close that. Okay. Another thing that really matters here is how easy it is to change these stats. For example, you see this test weapon right here? We'll go here to crit chance. It's 0.1. If I press play, and then I press start, and then I select. Okay, before I do that, let me show you what happens if you press next. Yep, you gotta select the weapon. Now I gotta press test weapon. Okay, crit chance is 10%. Let me exit. Go here, make crit chance 0.5, save, go back, wait for this to load again, press play. Now press start. Pay attention that I didn't even select the weapon this time. It was selected by default, and you can't unselect it because I thought there's no point to unselecting it, so I didn't make that a thing. So yeah, 50% now. as I made it. Okay, after you selected the weapon, okay, one more thing about weapon selection. Let's say your weapon has a lot of fire modes. A good example of this is Fenmore. It has the normal attack and it has the incarnate form. These two don't work simultaneously. Not that I've actually developed them working simultaneously yet. Right now, only one of these will be selected, the first one to be exact. So if I leave it right like this or disable that, you can basically press here to disable it. It doesn't work here though. And we're going to move forward and I'm going to tell you the difference between these two. This one has like fire rate of something like 3 and this one is like 13 or something. So we're going to be capable of telling the difference if it actually works or not. And pay attention that I can basically filter what I want. For example, I can say Phantasma and it'll just put Phantasma Prime. And if I can divest, what was it, Fenmore? It'll go Fenmore. And additionally, you can also scroll with the scroll wheel, and also you can just drag it to move. So that's also pretty nice. But one more thing that I haven't done is that these are not ordered in any particular way. So the order is completely arbitrary, but we could change that. That's not difficult. Though I don't think I will, because what's the point? We can do this anyway. You're not going to go through the whole thing looking for P, PH. You're not going to do that. You're just going to type it. So we're going to use normal attack. The crit chance is 20%. Pay attention that if I actually change these, this one doesn't change because I haven't made it to update like that. So let's go back to normal attack. We're going to press next. Timescale. Timescale is basically how fast the program runs. Back in the Python one, it was like, if I'm not mistaken, it went up to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of times the normal speed. But the case was there wasn't actually any time there. It was just a number. Like, this is the current number, this is the next number, this is the next number. I could show you, but I think that would be pretty boring. So I'm not going to do that. So if I press timescale 1, timescale would be 1 as in normal time. We're just going to keep 1 for now. And then this is a headshot body shot. And here we have a list of enemies. I can do the same thing. I can like say corrupted, and it'll just select whatever corrupted, the first one, corrupted heavy in this case. Or I could just say tech, and it'll select tech. It's not case sensitive either. And then test level, which is the level of the enemies, which is default 100. You gotta input a number. You can't import ABCD inside there to try and break the game. Well, I guess it's not a game, the program. So what if I said 1? Corpus Tech doesn't have a level 1, so it will change it to whatever the lowest possible level is for Corpus Tech. So let's say like 7. Actually, let me check what the enemy stat is for this thing. Where is database, enemy stats JSON. Let's see, corrupted. Corpus Tech base level is 15. Okay. So any level below 15, like let's say 14 or like 1, are the same thing in this case. So I press next, and we have mods. And you might notice that I almost tried to copy paste Warframe's UI here, and it works the same way. Like, you can't click on these things. That doesn't do anything. You can just drag and drop. Serration, like split chamber. And there's a button at the bottom that says casual names. You press the casual names. It basically, instead of their name, it just uses what they actually are. Like base damage, multi-shot, corrupted crit chance, and so on. Like speed trigger becomes fire rate, but while acceleration becomes corrupted fire rate. I like it this way because this is way easier to understand. Giving it a fancy name doesn't really do much of anything. Corrupted crit chance, then crit damage. Oh, wait a second. This is level 1. Okay, let's make that level 50 because these mods are going to absolutely destroy that thing. Yeah, that's enough, I think. Yeah, we're going to press next. And this is, see, this is real time. And it more or less uses the same format as my last one. I can maximize this so you can see it better, actually. Okay, so you can see that the fire rate is 2.4 because I added corrupted fire rate. Could I corrupt the fire rate? I added something like that. Actually, let me check. Panel mod. Okay, panel mod manager. No, mod select. Okay, we have a script called mod manager. Let's see, what did we select? We took critical delay. Here are all the stats of the mods. They're also stored inside the JSON file right here. Mods, rifle mods.json if you want to see them right there. And I didn't bother to write these things' name yet, but you get the idea. Okay, so you can see that when it's critical, when it's a proc. Did we get to actually have any proc damage? Oh, yep, slash dot on time 2.02. So on time 02, we should have a slash proc. Yep, there we do, slash proc. And here at the very bottom, we also have something like our default critical chance was 0.6. And then how many of our hits were actually critical? It's 57%. So that's close enough. So if these two numbers were way off, we would know that our test is not very good because the criticals were, the randoms were not very close to what they should be. So because they're random, it is possible to get any number. So technically, even though the chance is 0.6, you could get 100% crits if you have a low enough amount of hits. And our status chance is 0.2. We had 14%, multi-shot 1.9. We had, where is it? 2 was our average multi-shot. That basically means every single one of them got a multi-shot, doesn't it? Let's see, multi-shot, multi-shot, multi-shot. Yep, 714. Yep, every single one of them did a multi-shot. So let's try that again. Let's clear that. Let's press next, 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 next. I should have increased the time scale. So this time our average multi-shot was 1.9. See, I told you we can get different values. Let's clear that again. Okay, here, time scale. I'm not going to set it to 1000 because that's going to break this thing. It doesn't actually support the time scale of 1000, but I have been told that it does work in the final result, like in the output, that it's going to be an executable file, like Warframe itself. You play on it, you click on it, it starts running. I've been told that this thing will work there, though I sincerely doubt your computer can handle that. Unless the editor is slower than the actual game, but I don't have any proof of that. So let's see, press next, next, and it's done already. It's 2 seconds. We can check. Multi-shot was 2 again. So let's try a corrupted heavy gunner. What was our weapon again? Oh, Fenimore. Yeah, corrupted heavy gunner. That checks out. So let's give it some viral. Let's give it some viral. Let's give it some corrupted fire rate. What else? Reload? Or maybe magazine? Yeah, let's give it reload just to be on the safe side. Okay, so we started from this big line. So let's see. Our fire rate is 5.1, crit 0.6, critical damage 44, 4.4, and then 44% status chance. Yeah, magazine 30. What's the reload time? 2.6. It's decent. It's not actually that good, but you get the idea. That's not how you use Fenimore. But still, it took 12 seconds. Now, here is the funny bit. You don't have to change anything. And you get, okay, reload. It was 12.3. We're going to clear that. And instead of that, let's add, I don't know, well, like Toxin 90. Let's see. It was 12 then. Wait, how did it become 1? Was this a Corpus Tech or something? No, it's a heavy gunner. How wasn't this 12 seconds before? Okay, let me try that again. Maybe I looked at the wrong one. It says here, reload. It's 1.2. Okay, it's 2.0. I looked at the wrong one. So with the reload, it was slower. Yep. And these 60s are probably not a great idea in this case either, but you get the idea. You can test a lot of stuff, and it's not like this singular enemy is actually representative of the weapon's performance because it's only one faction and only one unit. That means certain tactics work better on it than others. For example, making this corrosive would most definitely make this better. Where is my corrosive? Electricity 60-60. Yep, 1.6 as expected. But if I go back, make it a bombard, clear this. See, 2.6. Now if I make it back to viral, let's see if it becomes better. I can bet it will become better. 2.0. So that was 30% faster. That's very significant. Okay, so with this identical build, the fire rate is 5.1. We're going to change the normal attack to Incarnate form. And we're going to 5.1. Remember that. We're going to clear. Okay, what is it? 22. So yeah, it does actually update it. So yeah. Did I miss anything? Let's see. You have a here selected corrupted. If I didn't select anything, I can't unselect in this case. But if I didn't select on the first time, because it's gonna remember even if you exit and then enter again, it will remember that you had selected Fenmore. It will remember you had level 50, corrupted bombard, body shot, 100, and so on. You can also use 10, but you get the idea. I can show it to you actually. Let me see. Clear player prefs. Okay, now let me play. There's a warning there. Let's take that. And not selected. There's another warning there. You get the idea. It's very ugly, I get that, but it's not even a pre-alpha yet. It's just a work in progress. Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. One really nice thing about Unity's UI is that it scales automatically. Like if I press maximize, everything would scale just fine. Oh yeah, select an enemy. There we go. And one more thing, look at these things. There's that much of them. That means this scroll bar goes only this far and no further. What if I added more? Would it break? Well, potentially it could, depending on how you have set it up. Let me actually select where the scroll view, viewport content. Okay, here are all the mods. So it ends on name of heat 60. If I made like 5 more, it should break if this doesn't scale with the number of them. So let's make, what is that, 6 more and then duplicate. Boom, name of heat 60, twice, no, not twice. Yes, twice, but not back to back. Now heat 60, there's another one, there's the coal, there's the toxin, there's electricity, you get the idea. Yep, that checks out. Okay, the funny thing is they still work. Even though they're duplicates, they still work. For example, if I was to add, okay, let me go back. What was the weapon? This error is still here, I should probably fix that. Test weapon, I have no idea if test weapon has, let's select Ignis. Ignis does heat, but now if I use even this copied electricity, this should become radiation now. Also, there's no family yet, mod families. I'm going to develop that right later. So I can use as many electricity mods as I bloody want. Now look at here. Name of electricity 60, 90, 60 again, and another 90. I can do as many as I want. And I can even add a serration if I wanted to. Let's make it an actually tough enemy. Heavy gunner. Yeah, and then make it the guy? Bombard. If you don't write anything here, it'll just be 0. Well, my apologies. If you don't write anything, it'll be default 100. So we're pressing next. Okay, pause. Actually, it doesn't do anything because as soon as the enemy is destroyed, the timescale is paused anyway. So the fixed update will not run every 0.02 seconds. So where is it? Level, open level gun. So this, inside of gun, I have made 2 things visible inside of editor, which is the unmodded first fire mode, which if you look at here has electricity 33, but here's the first fire mode, which is the one we actually use, and there is no heat, just radiation, a lot of radiation, because we added a lot of stuff, a lot of heat mods. So you might be asking, why did I even bother to change my style to Unity and C# while I already knew Unreal Engine a little bit and I already knew C++ a little bit? So why did I go to trouble of doing the whole thing again? I think I talked about this already once, but just in case. Unreal needed both C++ and blueprints. You might think, okay, just don't use blueprints, but some things need blueprints and cannot be coded, and that pissed me off so much, I left. Yeah, that's the reality of it. And I found out that using Unity and writing code in it is so much better, especially this feature right here. You see this primary weapon stat reader? I don't need to get a reference to it. I can just make it serializable and then just, what is it, stat reader? Yeah, I have a stat reader and it's just like, boop, and it works just like that. But in case of C++, as I understood it, you had to get references for everything, and it was bloody annoying, I can tell you that much. Okay, let's get to, yep. I wanted to tell you guys how easy it is in Unity to make a UI, and as you can tell within the month that I've learned both C# and Unity, it is easy, because if it wasn't, I couldn't have done that. So I wanted to add a back button in the active state. There is no back button. There is a next button that takes you back to weapon select, but there is no back button to go here. So I'm going to add one. I have a prefab here that's called back button inside of panel mod select. Let me actually make that thing visible. This back button. I'm just going to copy that. Then remove that. Where's panel active? Yep, panel active is here. I didn't disable it. And Control V. And I'm gonna make it a child of that thing. Okay, probably should have just used the default prefab because this is not what I want here. Yeah, it's not. This next button has something similar to what I want. I want it to tell the game manager to go to the mode weapon select. You might think this is a string, but then it gets parsed to an enum, so that's fine. So we're going to do the same thing, and to make two of them, make one of them do the button click function and another one do the time stop function, because we don't want time to move forward and cause your computer to fry when you're not actually calculating anything. So we're going to get 2, and then we're going to go to manager. We're going to drag and drop manager here. See how easy it is to get a reference to something? Just like that. We're going to go to game manager and button clicked string. And then we're going to go time manager, time stop. Because as soon as you press back, we don't want the time to continue moving forward. So I'll actually need the exact text there, because if it's not the exact text, it will not work. Can I go to that thing like that? Okay, it doesn't seem like it. I'm just going to use game manager, solution explorer, game manager. What's the exact name of mod select? Yep. Okay. I'm just going to put that there. Control S. We're saved, and there's our back button. Now let's see if it actually works. I'm going to press start, next, back. Yep. If I put a critical delay there, next, and then back, it's still there. So, let's see, what else do they want to talk about? Yep, we got an easy UI right there. That's the beauty of Unity. And I wanted to talk about time scale, but I think I already talked about time scale. Scalability and flexibility. Okay. I have some notes on the second screen if you're wondering. They're right here. Okay. So you see here when it says total base damage, multi-shot, crit chance, blah, 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 blah. I want the weapon name to be here. I haven't implemented it, but I'm going to try and make it. So we're going to go instead of gun, because I think this is from gun. Is this from gun? Yep, it's from gun. So I need the weapon name here. But as soon as you try to access name, you'll see there's an attack name and an internal name, but there isn't an actual name inside of this. This is an object. This is like object of fire mode class. I can like hover over it, though in debug mode it would have shown you what it actually is. So, but I already know where that thing is. It's inside of where is the database scripts, primary weapon stat reader. So let me close this, some of the other ones that are not necessary right now. There's probably a hotkey for that I don't know, and people are going to shout it at me in the comment section. Or maybe not, because I doubt a lot of people will see this. So you can see inside of primary class we have the name and then an array of fire mode classes. Yeah, we can do that. And then we have inside of fire mode class we have these things. These are the actual variables, or you would call them fields inside of C#. Because there's a thing like property, there's another thing field. They're different. They're not the same thing. So calling everything a variable is not useful. At least that's what the guys over at Microsoft say that developed this thing. Okay, so if I wanted to do this inside of Python, it would have been a headache. Okay, why am I doing that? Just duplicate that and make it weapon name. And then I have this weapon name, but it doesn't necessarily get passed down to the gun, because the gun itself, I don't think the gun grabs stats directly. Oh yeah, one more thing. This thing is currently not being filled with anything because there is no code to fill it. So instead of fire mode, okay, let's duplicate this, which is the trigger, put the weapon name there, and we don't know the exact like coordinates, like where it is, because when you use a .cvs file like this, I think this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, and you should know where the name actually is if you want to grab it, because we parse it into a string, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. Yeah, we're going to split it and put it inside of a string array. So it does start from 0. So now we have this line that says weapon name, but the stat is just a copy of trigger. So where do we get that? So we have it right here. Okay, now the weapon name should be correct, but it doesn't necessarily get passed down to gun, which we want to use it in. So I'm going to go there. I believe, oh, actually, I think this thing does grab stats from the stat reader directly, doesn't it? Yep, it does. Never mind then. So we'll have to, yep, here, which are the extra numbers, extra stats that we don't have to like change. We're just going to grab these. So I'll just make these field names, and then it'll just repeat through the fire mode class and try and find them. If it found them, it will add them. So first of all, do that, do that, do that. Oh, whoops, not that one. Okay, this one. Weapon name. Okay. Now we should have the weapon name there. But where was the print function that printed it? Yep, there it is. And okay. So now we should have weapon name. So now we have first fire mode and the weapon name. That's very useful, but we still want one more thing. Which fire mode it is, because different fire modes have different things. So I guess we'll try and use attack name. Is it attack name? Let's see, attack name. It's like normal attack, plasma bomb. Yeah, it should be attack name. Trigger sometimes has some important information inside it too. We could add that too if we wanted to. Trigger. Okay, now the text is all wrong. Say, oh no, not that one. The weapon name is, and that's the attack name. Attack name is, and that's the trigger. Trigger is, okay. That should work. One of my biggest problems inside of Python was that I couldn't find where things are. As people told me in the comments, I was being somewhat of a noob and not doing it properly, because I should have developed like classes and different files and stuff. These are not files. These are files. Okay. So the weapon name is Ignis, attack name is normal attack, trigger is held. See? That's simple. I created a new field or variable inside of the class and passed it down and took it from there, and it works now. Though it is important to remember that these things right here inside of the console, they will not show up in the game. I'll have to make a UI thingy here, and I'm currently making the UI as if it's going to be tiny. Oh, these things don't scale properly. Oh, because these things aren't underneath canvas. Okay, that explains it. Or are they? They are. These two are underneath canvas. Why are they not scaling properly? I'll have to look into that later, because I don't think I'll be capable of figuring it out super quickly. Wait a second. Oh, never mind. They do scale. It was just that I paused it. Because it was paused, I couldn't do anything. Okay. So what else did I want to talk about? We talked about the scalability and flexibility. I added a new thing to the code. It was pretty simple, as you saw. When you know how to do it, though, like you're wondering what I was doing this whole month. My last project, aka the Python one, where is that? Damage system. Yep, open that. It had the problem of not being an actual program. It's a bunch of code that you have to run on your end the same way I run it, which is to say inside of a code editor, or what was the name of these things? I forgot the name of these things. So you don't need to understand anything about Python and its syntax to make it work. It's going to be as simple as an executable. Like you're just going to click storyboard, just like that, and it's going to work. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. And the final thing that I wanted to talk about is the plan. So how am I going to use this thing, and when will it be available, or stuff like that? The plan currently is that I'm not going to spend multiple months making this thing perfect before I even try to use it, basically, because last time I made all the changes that I wanted, and then I made one video, primary weapon, then another one secondary, another one melee. I'm probably not going to do it like that this time. I'm going to go primary rifles, and then primary shotguns, and then primary this, primary this, primary this. Basically, I'm going through every single category of weapons and develop those and make sure they work. That's going to be a bit difficult, actually, making sure they work properly. But because I have the previous one, it will probably be easier to cross-reference it with that one. Because if they are both correct, then they should have the same results. Yeah, so I'm going to make rifles, shotgun, snipers, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. I'm going to do one at a time and implement it, give the video, implement the new one, give the video. And whenever the whole thing is done, I'll have to think about what I'm going to do with this mess of a project. And after all of them are done, I could probably package them all together and make a little bit of a different or a little bit of an updated version to say recommended primary weapons. But at first, I'll definitely do recommended rifles, recommended shotguns, and so on. I said that 5 times already. Okay. Any closing notes? Any conclusions? No, I don't think so. So yeah. All right then. I'll see you guys next time, and bye-bye.